Sound of Niagara podcast. It's Nate. My house like a wheel that's turning. My love is alive. Okay, Gary Wright for you. I want to talk about, it's a good song, by the way. I can listen to that song all day. I want to talk about ICE. I want to talk about Pete Hegseth's church. I want to talk about John Oliver's takedown of Chuck Schumer. I want to talk about all of it and much more, including the war in Gaza and the insanity of the war in Gaza. Let's start with Hegseth's church, okay? Did you see this beautiful clip? Not so beautiful clip, actually totally disgusting clip of Hegseth's preacher. Wild. It's totally wild. I'm not going to say any more. I'm just going to let you watch it. This is where the guy that runs the U.S. military goes to church. Here we go.
Women are the kind of people that people come out of.
So you just think they're meant to have babies. That's
Well,
it. They're just a vessel.
No, it doesn't take any talent to simply reproduce biologically.
Oh,
The
I
wife
think
and
it
mother,
does.
who is the chief executive of the home, is entrusted with 3
Okay.
or 4 or 5 eternal souls.
I'm here as a working journalist, and I'm a mom of 3.
Good for you.
Is that an issue for
No,
you?
And no, it's not automatically an issue.
Christchurch senior pastor Doug Wilson is the leader of a Christian nationalist movement that believes in a patriarchal society where men are dominant and women are expected to submit to their husbands. Josh and Amy Prince, along with their 4 kids, moved from Washington State to Moscow, Idaho, where Wilson's movement is.
Are you bored? It gets better. I mean, it's already been disgusting. No wonder we have a plunging birth rate in this country. Who wants to breed with these people? But anyway, listen to this.
Based.
Do you see Amy as your equal?
Yes and no. In the
what?
sense that
Huh?
we're both saved by grace.
Huh? What?
We're absolutely on equal footing.
What'd you
But
say?
we have very different purposes, God-given.
But do you see yourself as the head of the household, as the man?
He is the head of our household.
Yes.
Yes, and I do submit to him.
So like move
You look crazy, lady. Nuts. Anyway, and your husband is deranged.
here
I was just
was
gonna say that.
ultimately your decision.
Yes.
That's a great
example.
By the way, you may notice my PBS shirt. I don't care what Sacha Baron Cohen says about. Maybe I'll just grow a man bun like he. You may have seen that movie where he makes fun of the guy wearing all the PBS gear. PBS needs our support right now, and I think even Sacha Baron Cohen would agree with that. It is a lifeline for our democracy. For our democracy, yeah, you heard me. PBS and NPR. If you look at other countries that have democracies like Japan, Canada, the UK, they have the BBC, the CBC, the NHK, KBS. Every country has something like this, like a public broadcaster that helps educate the public. And in our country now, we don't have it because they didn't like truth anymore. I mean, it was it's too partisan. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, NPR was going out of its way to be impartial at times, giving platforms to people like Steve Bannon. But whatever, it's gone. Its funding is gone anyway, but I'll be supporting it because it's a huge part of my life, frankly. Watch this. Keep going with these idiots.
Wilson says in his vision of a Christian society, women as individuals shouldn't be able to vote.
Yikes.
His fellow pastors Jared Longshore.
Did you catch that? Women should not be able to vote. Now, you may say it's never going to happen, Nate. Well, you said it's never going to happen with the repeal or the clawback of gay rights or same-sex marriage, but look at the Supreme Court. They're about to hear a case on it. It is going the wrong way, folks. Democracy is on the ropes. Now, maybe it will be able to pull an uppercut and somehow win the match. We'll see. Doesn't look good as troops are being amassed in Washington.
Toby Sumter agree.
In my ideal society, we would vote as households. And I would ordinarily be the one that would cast the vote, but I would cast the vote.
You look like a
having
leader.
Discussed it with my household.
Who
But
wouldn't
what if
obey
there's
your will?
Your wife doesn't want to vote for the same
Right.
person as you.
Right. Well, then that's a great opportunity for a good discussion.
There are
He's acting like he's the dad and his wife is his child. It's gross.
who have gone so far as to say that they want the 19th Amendment repealed.
I would support that. And I'd support it on the basis that the
Sure you would, because you're a spineless little creep who, you support the repeal of the 19th Amendment because you don't want to be challenged, and you can't be challenged by women. Women are too scary for you.
That comes with our current system is not good for humans.
And Wilson, a
All right,
veteran.
listen, it goes on and on and on and on and on. I mean, this is where Pete Hegseth goes to church. 3 times married, right? Is that what it was? Alleged abuser, Pete Hegseth. He's the one you should listen to on marital advice and how to run a household. Yikes. Yikes, Pete. Man. Pete, listen, and this sounds too bro and obnoxious to you. I can't. The thing that makes me laugh about Pete Hegseth is he's so feminine. Like his clothing and his hair and his makeup and his little pocket square. He's so femmed out. If that's offensive to you to hear that, I mean, he is outwardly projecting the look and feel of what I would just consider femininity. But he's the guy who's going to tell women they can't vote. Maybe he'll lose his right to vote too. All right, here we go. Let's talk about ICE. Now, I put a lot of stuff about ICE lately on social media, not on Twitter because I'm banned. There's a terrorist on there, but I'm banned. I'm too dangerous. I guess. The other thing is, that was said with sarcasm, by the way. Sarcasm. It's it's often lost on social media, but sarcastically, I mean, I'm as harmless as a dove. I am a harmless, nice guy. Ask people that actually know me. But they have these horrible human beings that are, advocating for the removal of rights, for example, and they're on Twitter, but I am banned because I am somehow Che Guevara or something. Anyway, so the next thing, ICE. Now, I compared on social media ICE to the people hunting in the attic for Anne Frank. And I don't take it back. I double down on it. It is disgusting. They're hiring, there's no age limit anymore. They're hiring anybody untrained to go search their neighbors. They want us to spy on each other and look for people's papers. What country am I living in? It is disgusting. It couldn't be more vile. Stand up to it as often as you can, everywhere you can, while you still can. It's gross. Look at this. Is one of many videos. I just randomly picked a video of ICE arresting people.
Don't fucking push me. You're taking him before I can take a phone number from him?
You need to stop.
You need to stop kidnapping people at the
It's like Idiocracy or something.
You just dragged him away when I'm trying to call his family for him.
We're making an arrest. You need to stay
Show
back
me
from
your
my
arrest
rig.
warrant then. Show me your arrest warrant.
I don't need to show you
Yeah,
anything.
because you're a liar.
You're not an interested party. You have no right to see that.
Stop! You guys are kidnapping people at the fucking street.
Yeah.
We good?
They're doing this to American citizens, by the way, as well.
Being obnoxious and a lady.
Not being obstructive. You're being obnoxious.
You're being an obstructionist lady.
100%.
What the heck?
You guys have no conscience. Yep.
I'll stop it in a
If you're
second.
doing something right, take your mask
Yeah,
off.
take your
then.
mask off, you coward.
Coward.
And I don't use that word lightly. Coward. Enough, right?
Try to help them and you have to.
All right, number one, the excuse they're using is they have to wear their masks because they're going to get doxxed, and they're in great danger. Listen, I was an elected official. It's part of the game. When you work for the government, guess what? In Erie County, all your salaries are posted online. It's all online. You're a public official. You're a servant of the public, civil servant. That's, if you don't like it, go to the private sector. And, people came to my house when I was an elected official. I hated it. I had to talk to people when I didn't want to. They said nasty things sometimes. It wasn't great. It's not great. But it's part of the deal. And in America, we believe generally that if you're a cop, you have to identify yourself and give your badge number. Suddenly in 2 months, that's just out the window. We don't do that anymore. Because why? They're afraid to get doxxed. Maybe you're afraid of what you're doing. You're embarrassed of what you're doing. Now, apparently there's rights to cover your face when you're dealing with extreme terrorists. those guys, they're looking like they're pulling off the street to look like extreme terrorists. And I said this last week as well. If you look at the arrests that are happening in our region, most of them are for immigration are women that look incredibly harmless, middle-aged women, and they need masks for that. And listen, it is completely un-American, completely un-American. Did you see Dr. Phil? Let's show you Dr. Phil here. Look at Dr. Phil getting humiliated on the Bill Maher show. And I'm not a huge fan of Bill Maher. You know, like he went to go see Trump, and he's like, he's a charming man. Sure he is. But Bill Maher can be clever at times. I've never been a fan. Even when his show was on ABC, politically incorrect. And by the way, how long have we been mocking politically incorrect stuff? Like, it's edgy. Bill Maher was doing it 30 years ago. Like, aren't you sick of being politically incorrect? And now we got all these guys in Austin, you know, literally using that as their shtick. It is not edgy or brave to pick on people that are disadvantaged. If you're a comedian, I'm taking on the power because I'm making fun of trans people, or I'm making fun of gay people, or I'm making fun of minorities or immigrants. You're punching down. It doesn't take bravery to punch down. Anyway, Bill Maher, here we go.
Going on these raids. I don't
talking to Dr.
understand
Phil
that.
here.
You're a guy who we know for so many years who has been working to put families together, to bring families who are apart and heal them. And now you're going on raids with people who are literally separating families. Explain that to me.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, now Dr. Phil, he doesn't answer the question. He pivots. Watch.
That's not bullshit. They're not separating families?
No. Look, if you arrest somebody that's a citizen that has committed a crime or is DUI with the child in the back seat, do you think they don't separate that family right then, right there?
But that's not what's going on.
Of course they do. But what you're talking about, I was hearing you in your monologue saying...
He's equating criminal activity to having improper visa status or something. Now, listen, these people who say, oh, I'm for immigration as long as it's legal, you're basically saying, I'm never for immigration because it is almost impossible to do it properly. The way our answers came in, none of us would get in today. None of us. The farmers and the employers have been begging for immigration reform for years. We're just not giving it to them. So we've allowed a gray area to exist where people could come in, go as they needed for the industry that we relied on. And yes, you rely on it. You're a hypocrite. Are you eating $25 apples? So don't talk to me about slave labor or how these people are actually exploited and this is good for them. No. We've relied on this system, this gray labor market, for generations, for literally 100 years. So don't tell me that, I can't stand this violation of the law when you go out to eat every day and go to grocery stores with benefiting from the labor of this gray market, where I don't even know if that's the right term that people would use, but there has been this twilight zone between legality and illegality, where all of these employers, meat packers, you saw Donald Trump's tweet on this, where he said, all of these good people we're losing in the hospitality industry, we need to rethink our immigration policy, because he knows if we really deport all these people, our economy will collapse. And you're like, well, people will go and work through this labor. Have you ever read The Grapes of Wrath? Probably, because people don't read anymore because NPR is illegal and we're not educated at all. The Grapes of Wrath is about farmers for Oklahoma who get in their cruddy car and they drive to California to work on the farms, and how they are exploited over and over again. The book ends in one of the most chilling ways, as a man is starving in a farm, and this family is taking the family that's been going from farm to survive. The American family, this family from Oklahoma, the woman has lost her child and she has breast milk, and she feeds a starving man in the farm. And that's what it was like when Americans were picking on farms. And yet it's not great for a lot of people today. We should improve farming standards. I'm not saying that. But don't pretend you're not super hypocritical as you stuff your fat face with vegetables from all these stores that are picked by so-called illegal hands. All right, keep going here.
Got these ICE agents with masks on.
Yes.
Well, let me tell you why they have their mask on. Because we actually have legislators who passed laws about immigration and funded those laws.
They have masks on because they're embarrassed of what they're doing. Take away all the politics from it. If I just told you, here are the facts. There are gangs, or there are groups of men with masks, unidentified, driving around in unmarked cars, picking people off the streets and throwing them into detention centers all over the country. Detention centers with overflowing toilets and disgusting conditions in the middle of alligator swamps. Would you be like, oh, this is justified? Oh, I'm Dr. Phil. It's justified.
To be executed. They actually pay these agents to go out and do this, and now they're doxing them. They're putting their name, their
wrong.
pictures, their address.
Nobody wants anybody doxed. Nobody also wants, that with a brain, hordes of masked men patrolling the streets, spying on everybody. What is wrong with you, you bald weird?
Of their families on the internet. They're putting them on telephone poles. So, of course, they're wearing masks so they don't get outed, so people can do violence against their families.
You do understand these men are doing violence against people's families themselves. And just because they have a badge doesn't necessarily, well, it didn't used to in this country, mean it's justified. I can show you video after video of American citizens getting pinned to the ground by these masked hooligans.
The negative actions against ICE agents are up 1,000% in the last several months.
They keep throwing that statistic out, like the ICE agents are under attack and like there's a war against them. When the reality is, well, first of all, where the statistics come from. Second of all, what do you think when you're going into neighborhoods with horses on horseback charging through fields? Listen, if a guy grabs me on the street with a mask on, you're going to get punched. I mean, like, I don't know who you are. How do I know you're an ICE agent? Can I see your badge and number? Can I see your name? And if the answer is no, I think I have a moral obligation to defend myself.
Violence against them, and why them? They didn't make the laws.
So if someone does get arrested and picked it up by someone who is not an ICE agent with a mask, are you going to be liable for that, Mr. Phil? Can we go after your vast, stupid, fortune earned from was it See Outside Girl and all whatever else you had on your show? Was it Call You Outside? I don't know. My point is, we literally don't know if some people are being picked up by groups that are not associated with the federal government.
They didn't make that law. What are you expecting to do? Just not do their job? If you don't like the law, change it. I don't like that law at all. Change the law.
If you don't like it, where are you going?
Because that is the law.
Yeah.
Why are you going on these ICE raids? I don't know.
Guy is an idiot. I mean, Dr. Phil's a fool. Okay, let's go on, shall we? I want to get to the Trump taking over the DC, which is, we'll talk about why it's really scary. It's not just a distraction. It's a coup. I mean, that's what it is. And I'll get to it in a second, but let's talk about Israel. And it's almost too painful to talk about, but let's talk about it for a second.
How is Benjamin Netanyahu getting away with the war in Gaza? Israel's hard-right government has said that it is planning a new offensive in Gaza City. This comes amid mounting evidence of war crimes and a humanitarian catastrophe. Most recently, that included the targeted killing of journalists, one of whom Israel claims was linked to Hamas.
They've killed numerous journalists and aid workers, in addition to 50,000 at least people, civilians, a third of which at least were children. Do you understand this? How many people have died in this war? Paid for by you and me. I mean, there's wars all over the world that are terrible, but this one is paid for by America.
But this new Gaza City campaign comes during intense pressure to end the war from inside Israel. The Israel Defense Forces oppose a new offensive, including reportedly the Chief of Staff. For months, a majority of Israelis have been in favor of the war ending, believing that this is the fastest way to bring back the hostages held in Gaza. And recently, mainstream Israeli news bulletins have started to cast doubt on the morality of the war.
ואולי הגיע הזמן להבין שזה לא כישלון הסברתי, אלא כישלון מוסרי.
In July, two
Bless you,
prominent
lady.
Israeli human rights organizations accused the government of genocide.
מניעת ג'נוסייד היא לא רק חובה מוסרית, היא גם חובה משפטית.
And there
Yes.
is mounting evidence that international law
Yeah,
is being broken.
to you people that are of Jewish descent, including Bernie Sanders, a personal hero of mine. Yeah, a personal hero of mine. I'm say it every day. Guy's got a backbone. And many, many others. God bless you. I mean, anyone can fight for your own identity and say, this is my team. I'm going to fight for them to the end. But that's not the most human characteristic. The most human characteristic is saying, listen, you're nothing like me. We're from a different background, but I can see our shared humanity. And if you're a person of Jewish descent and you can't look at these kids in Gaza and feel sadness, you need to get therapy. I mean, you got to go to therapy or something. Like, you're not looking at this rationally.
Something that Israel's domestic legal system should act on, but so far has not. Outside Israel, criticism has grown stronger than ever. Britain, France, Canada, and Australia have all condemned Israel's recent actions in Gaza. Germany, one of Israel's staunchest supporters, has said it has had enough too. It supplies 30% of Israel's weapon imports and has said it will now impose a partial arms embargo.
Good.
The US administration so far
Look at that guy. Look at
is
that
not
dope.
willing
He
to
runs
put
our
pressure
country.
on Israel to the same
By the
degree.
way, I got to say this. Just sometimes I have to say this to get it out there. Look at that guy's face. Look at this man's face. Donald Trump is the president. Donald Trump. Yes, that Donald Trump. Not a different Donald Trump. That one right here with the makeup on. How crazy is that? I mean, if you're over 30, you've seen this man on TV for years, and you realize he's Donald Trump. And that's why it seems like Donald Trump is president. Because Donald Trump is one of the worst people who ever lived. I mean, just low class, low end, low rent, all the way. Like, no taste. This is the guy. He is a man who thinks it is impressive to put gold on toilets. All right, once in a while, I just have to remind people that the president is, in fact, the same Donald Trump we grew up with. Yuck.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio has even criticized Europe's recent interventions. That means the war can end in only one of three ways. The first is that Israel's rickety coalition government does eventually collapse. The second is that Hamas eventually agrees to the ceasefire terms.
Is there anybody in charge in Hamas anymore? I mean, can anyone tell me who the leadership is? Listen, you can't destroy ideas. There's people in this region who hate Israel. It's unjustified. It's wrong. There are stupid American college students who did the wrong thing and blamed Israel for October 7th. But continuing to bomb children and journalists isn't going to solve that. It's going to make it worse. All right, listen, I had to talk about it. Everyone should talk about this stuff every week, but I had to talk about it. All right, let me move on here. Okay. All right, here's another painful thing to talk about, but I have to. Here we go.
The president has taken over a local police department, in this case, D.C. Metro Police. President Trump said yesterday he will also send hundreds of National Guard troops onto the streets there in a support role in D.C. because he thinks the police need help cracking down on crime there. The police department in this community of nearly...
All right, so I listened to I don't listen to the show anymore because it's especially since the election has gotten so subservient to MAGA. It's called the Morning Joe Show. MSNBC at night, it just gives me a headache. It's just like everyone is just, patting each other on the back. It's terrible, terrible television. It's not compelling to watch. Sorry, it's my view. You can have a different view. It's not giving me any information. It's like, here's this talking point that we're going to repeat 500 times. And then in the morning, they're a little bit more charismatic, but I can't watch it because Joe Scarborough is such a shill, and his ideas are so hackneyed, and he doesn't have, I don't think he's an original thought in his head, and his instinct is always to go for what is conservative, because he's a conservative. He's a Tea Party guy. He doesn't paint himself that way, but he came in with that movement. So I don't know how he became the voice of the Democratic Party, but I mean, I don't know if you watched John Oliver. John Oliver did a piece on Schumer. It was great. I mean, Schumer always talks about this family, this fictional family, the Baileys. I mean, like literally for 10 years or 20 years, he's been referencing the Baileys of Long Island. And there's no evidence the Baileys exist. But the Baileys believe that immigration is only good if it's legal. He always uses the Baileys as this moderate template. And the big reveal on the John Oliver show, which is a comedy show, was that the Baileys are in fact Republicans, and maybe that Schumer shouldn't listen to them anymore. Should actually listen to Democrats. I've had my problems with Schumer. And repeat, when I was running for office against a MAGA guy, Schumer came out during the middle of the campaign and said he loves my opponent. And it's because he's super rich, and Schumer took money from him. I guess that's what I would assume. I have no other guess why he would feel compelled to do that, other than he's senile or something. But he came out in the middle of the campaign and said, "Oh, I love him." Like, what? He didn't. And then I called his office and said, "Why are you doing this? And you haven't endorsed me, but you're endorsing my MAGA opponent." And then and they put out some, lackluster statement after they killed me in the press, but whatever. Basically painted me as some like ungrateful mailroom employee that was, mocking the CEO. That's my personal problem. Beyond that, the guy's a terrible leader. He's completely ineffective. And if you want to watch that John Oliver piece, it explains it in great detail, and it is very, very effective. Back to Trump. So Trump is going to put federal... I'm just going to get to the point, so you don't have to listen to this for 2 hours while I explain it. Trump is building a ballroom, a $200 million ballroom, turning the White House into a country club. He loves country clubs. Have you ever been to a country club? Nothing is worse than a country club. Yeah, I've worked out in a country club before. It's like when you go to play tennis or something in a country club. I've been invited a few times. I'm like, are we really working out here? Or are we just staring at each other and hitting the ball softly? It's like it's like a haven for the worst athletes to play sports, where they can't be challenged, and they can feel good about their lackluster athleticism, and it's terrible food. I hate country clubs. It's just a matter of taste for me. I have no interest in going to those type of places. But Trump loves them, and he's turning the White House into a country club. And remember, under the excuse or justification that DC is a crime-ridden hellhole, which I think the crime rates are massively fallen, what I heard this morning. I don't have any independent statistics. I'm not a DC crime statistician. But those crime numbers come from the local police. The reports of the local police. He's saying that the city needs to be taken over by federal troops and the National Guard. Now, if you've talked to anyone in the military, for whatever reason, they're all behind Trump. Not all of them, but a huge number of them are behind Trump. And it's because... I think people in the military have a tendency to be conservative, and he is the current tribe leader of the Conservative Party, and they don't have anywhere else to go to. And he is trying to put a military force that is loyal to him in DC because he doesn't plan on leaving. Who's going to remove him when he's surrounded by the U.S. military or the National Guard? He didn't have the guts to send the National Guard in when they were destroying the Capitol, but he's going to send them in to go after kids because Big Balls, the Doge intern, was beaten up. Listen, I remember DC back when it was really bad when I was a kid. DC's nice. It's expensive. Look at the average house cost in DC. Yeah, are there homeless people? Is there crime? Yeah, the world has crime in it. Maybe we should address social issues. Maybe we should, how many cops is it going to take to fix America's crime problem? Does everybody have to have a cop in their house? I think Nixon is the one who said he wanted cops every 5 feet. Is that where we're going to? I mean, I guess it's going to be a good way to get universal basic income after we all, we all lose our jobs to AI. But like, I mean, it's just kind of ludicrous. But I think that don't keep your eyes off the prize here. It's not about distracting from the Epstein files. It's about amassing power so he never has to leave office. He's not going to leave office again. The last time he left, they tried to put him in jail. And I think some of those cases I've said before were kind of bull. Yeah, I do. Sorry. You can't run for office and say, I'm going to put somebody in jail. And as soon as you get office, bring a novel legal theory to put them in jail. I don't think it made sense, some of those cases. Not the insurrection cases. They should have went all on and they should have pushed those harder. But some of these like business stuff from 10 years ago or the Stormy Daniels stuff, I was like, really? You're going to go 10 years back on a novel legal theory that's never been prosecuted before when you said you were going to. So he knows, doesn't matter. He knows he's going to face consequences because he's more corrupt now than ever before. And he's not leaving office. He's just not leaving office. It's just not going to happen. And which is, terrifying. Frankly, terrifying. All right, 2 more things. It says there, you probably don't see that. Oasis is advised not to bash President Trump. They don't want to lose their tour dates. And I put this up there because it's indicative of what's going on in the country. Everyone is afraid. Oasis is known for being brash and unafraid to talk out and to talk back. But even Oasis, the rock band, isn't going to say anything about Trump because they don't want to lose money. I mean, where are the heroic artists, by the way? Anyone can write a song about, hey, I miss my girlfriend that I broke up with, or hey, I like dogs. Show me the Creedence of 2025. Show me the Bob Dylan of 2025. Show me even the Rolling Stones. Anybody who can write a song with a little, protest in it. And these guys, everyone's a sellout now. Everybody is a sellout. And I want to tell y'all, we all die. You got to pay your bills. You got to take care of your family, but we all die, and you can't take it with you, Oasis. I don't know how much money you need, but you're going to, silence yourself because you want to go on tour in America? We'd like you more if you just told us the truth about Trump. I know my friend was at a Pearl Jam concert 2 years ago, and he says he was up in the expensive seats, and every time Pearl Jam talked about Trump, the audience would boo. Maybe you'll lose your audience too. But if we don't all speak out every chance we get, no one will speak out. That's why I keep doing these podcasts. That's why I keep doing this stuff, because I'm like, as long as people are listening to me, even a couple people here and there, I got to speak out. I feel a moral obligation to do so. Not that I'm better than you or smarter. I mean, I have a voice and I can feel that what's happening is very dangerous and wrong. So I keep talking. All right, last thing. This is just another taste thing. I mean, it makes me nauseous.
There is talk of a July 4th fight. America's 250th birthday next summer.
Where at?
At the White House.
Okay.
It's a pretty big venue. Is that going to happen, Dana? What can you tell us?
It is definitely going to happen. I talked to him last night, him being the president, and I'm flying out there at the end of this month, and I'm going to sit down and walk him through.
All right, so they're going to put an MMA fence fight at the White House. All right, first of all, if you're one of these guys who goes to MMA class every night and you think you can beat people up, why do you want to beat people up? Number 2, are you sure I'm not going to pick up a pen and stick it in your eye? I mean, there are rules in the MMA. I mean, you may think you can armbar me all you want, but what if I just, slam your head into a car door or something? I mean, the real world is very complex. So if this is making you feel safe because you can handle any situation, yeah, if we're in a ring, you can probably beat me up. But, I mean, when are we going to get in a ring? And a couple times, by the way, I've talked to some of these guys, the MAGA guys. I'm like, let's fight if you want to fight. I'll set it up. Like, I'll kill you, McMurray, and I'll go tweet it. I'll direct message them like, I was kidding. I'm like, yeah, there's one guy to all these followers, big bodybuilder guy, that probably would gas out in 2 seconds, but he was saying that he wanted to fight me, and he never responded to my text after I said, like, I set it up, buddy. Not that I wouldn't lose, but I wanted to see how far it would go. Anyway, the fact that they want to put this in the White House is pretty disturbing. I'm sorry, I don't like it. I don't like MMA. I don't like two guys. I kind of like boxing because I grew up with it. It seems more noble because you're standing on your feet. And if this was just like any other sport, like, hey, I like water polo. Well, I don't. Or I like ultimate frisbee. Cool. I don't. You can like it. But like MMA has become such a cultural flashpoint. It's like it is part of people's whole identity. I listen to Joe Rogan. I go to MMA. I think I'm an alpha. And it's just so repulsive to me, the whole thing, the whole culture around it. I don't find any beauty or fun in it. I feel it's gross. It's just, look at the ambassadors of it. They're all kind of like this. And how many of them are like white supremacist dudes? It looks like two neo-Nazis like crawling on each other every time I watch it. And I know you're going to say, well, the greatest of all time is this guy from, whatever. Yeah, but most of the time I watch it, it looks like two neo-Nazis, rolling on the ground together. And to put that in the White House, it's vile. And I'm a populist. I like stuff that regular people like, but you know what? Yeah, I'm too good for it. I don't want to go watch it. I don't want to watch people bleeding at each other and crawling on each other and straddling each other. I don't want to watch it. I don't. No, two dudes in a ring sweating and groaning. No thanks. All right. I think I'm going to end right there. All right, I'm going to be away for a while. I'm going deep into the woods. I'm going to kayak for a couple weeks. Not a couple weeks. That's a lie. About a week. So I'll talk to you guys next week when I get back. Can't wait to be out there in the woods by myself. Well, I'll be with my sons, but I'll be up there. All right. Take care. They Might Be Giants to end with. I always like this song. I like They Big Giants. But I like the kids' albums even more. Oh, here it comes.
Looking here in the alley by the light switch. Who watches over you? Make a little birdhouse.